But one thing though, black women do not with me.
I grew up in a predominantly black neighborhood called Del Paso Heights in Sacramento, California. And in my neighborhood, it was hardly any white people, unless we taught at the high school that I attended, which was called Grand High. So Monday through Friday, I very rarely saw white students my own age. And if I were to do that, I would have to go like to Arden Mall or someplace outside of my jurisdiction just to encounter white people, let alone having access to other white students my age. It was just something that we just didn't see coming up. And when we wanted to deal with black women, which is what we always dealt with, there were some characteristics about black women's looks that they monopolize. If you want to talk about hairstyles or dookie braids or extensions or certain types of weaves, big gold ring earrings, that was completely African American. And something else was completely African American, that booty. Black women had the monopoly on booty. And if you were a black man that liked booty, you were in the right place. But fast forward to about the time 2010 came, and then Instagram came, and obviously Facebook was starting to build up steam. We started to see other women of other races that we could access with our phone that had the same body types, if not sometimes better, than the women in our community. Rewind! Before I go further, the tension between black women and white women has always been there since the beginning of time. But the advent of social media just made it worse. And a very popular social media model by the name of Simone Christiansen has added fuel to the fire. She appeared on Mr. Organic's podcast, and she said something very interesting when it came to black women.
What is the problem with the white woman and the black woman? What is that about?
I mean, I love them. I don't know why they hate me so much.
Yeah.
They hate me.
What do you think it is they hate?
I think they think that I am trying to be look like them.
Okay.
Can I say this?
I didn't say this. Go ahead.
Me?
I like it. Come on.
I think that they think that I want to look like them and try to be like, because of my body type and stuff like that. I have just genetically a different proportion than the average white girl. Can't fault me for that. And then I be putting in every single day at the gym. I'll be going crazy for my body goals.
So as you can see, she says, well, she doesn't look like the stereotypical white woman. And this is true because she doesn't. I mean, at least she doesn't look like the historic white woman. Now, this lady is from Denmark, and I want to talk about when I was coming up, white women looked like more or less like Vanna White, the old host from Wheel of Fortune. She might have been attractive, but the booty and being thick, it really wasn't popularized. That wasn't something that black men looked at white women for. Not to say that black men and white women didn't date at that time, but white women didn't really have booty, and if they did, they were not really appreciated in their own community. So that was something that was not common. But today, almost every community likes booty, right? Black women popularized it, and then these other races of women have made it more famous. So the look has went from looking like Vanna White to what you're seeing right now in the present day, where a white IG model can have a black build and literally build her career. Very similar to Kim Kardashian or even a mulatto model like Amber Rose. But the next part is this.
I do feel like sometimes they be mad at me because A, I like black men.
Yeah.
So they think I'm overstepping. B, I have the same physique as some of them.
Okay.
So now I'm definitely
Cause that ass
overstepping.
is assing, you hear me?
And I do like the black culture. I am in no way, shape, or form trying to be black, but I do listen to
love our culture.
certain
Yeah,
rappers and hip hop
Yeah.
and like certain movies and stuff like that. But that's not me trying to be like somebody
You
else.
eat fried
That's just
chicken
me.
and watermelon too?
So the first part she talked about, I have booty and I actually work out every day. In other words, I don't think that black women work out enough. But then in this part, she says, black men really like me. And, I like their culture. I like their music. And this is a point of discussion because in the past, a black man, if he were to see a woman like this and had the opportunity, if he were to talk to her, it's not that he doesn't like black women. It's like she looks like a black woman in many aspects with just different features, which would make her exotic. So somebody like Simone Christiansen appeals to not only black men who like black women, but even black men who dislike black women. And this is where somebody like her wins. You see, she's from Denmark and living now in Miami. So if you were to see her in Denmark, with the taste that men in Denmark have, it probably wouldn't be the case that she would be able to be accepted there, right? But a woman like her can come into the black community or come into black Miami, and then all these ballers want to talk to her because she's white with blonde hair and she has a black girl's body. So when you look at black women, it's easy for somebody to assume that black women are jealous of her just because she's white with a big butt, right? There is a TikToker by the name of Seti Manata who basically explained some of the reasons why black women are perceived to be jealous or envious of white women.
We're still one of the most disrespected, neglected, and forgotten racial groups as well. This is to the extent that when we talk about women's problems, we have to stop and be like, okay, now let's talk about black women's problems. Because more often than not, women's problems neglect the problems that are unique to black women. Which is why we have stuff like misogyny and then misogynoir. Because racism plays a good part, and because these white women who face issues with misogyny will become misogynist towards black women. And now we have misogynoir.
Now, in this case, the young lady really makes it plain. She's saying here that things that are supposed to be for women, black women are easily forgotten. For an example, feminism. Now, black women join feminism with white women, and then they're often left out of the conversation, even though they join into feminism trying to get equality with white women. And then what happens is oftentimes when black women do this, they find themselves being slighted by those same white women. And then, as this young lady has said, white women will start being misogynist towards black women, and she used a term to express that, which is called misogynoir. But then also, what else?
And with that being said, I've seen black women in person who've talked about how they wish they were white. And God, not because white people are better, just because they're so tired of living under these social understandings of what it means to be a black woman. They're so tired of being strong. They're so tired of being misrepresented. They're just tired. They want peace. And so they're smiling in my face saying these words lightly, you know, white women have it easy. But there's a lot of weight and there's a lot of remorse and sorrow behind those words.
So she says here's something very interesting. She says that a lot of black women would want to be white for these different reasons, not because of the skin, but because of all of the hassle and all of the unfair treatment that black women may face in society in comparisons to white women. Now, black men could say some of the same things when it comes to black men and white men, but this point, to me, I believe is strongly valid. Now, why it may be the case that this particular young lady is getting black men's attention, there is some tensions that are undergirded in racism and, unfair treatment with white women and black women that already kind of create the divide there. And it's just more than just, the fact that they're taking black men. But there is another element to this. And that is we do have black men who perceive that white women are better. In the case of this guy, he is going to describe black women in a very pejorative manner.
They are consistently stirring up drama, confusion, even death, And on the other hand, you got white women. White women the majority of white women always seem to be well off.
But then watch how he talks favorably about white women.
They're hearing all type of deals. They're they know how to act like a lady. They know how to shine with the person that they came there with. Most 9 times out of 10, they're not going to come somewhere and, this is a money meeting. The money is more important. White women would stay on track.
Now, we got to be honest. There are some black men out there who believe that white women are just more feminine. White women are more loyal. White women won't disrespect you. And so if you can get a white woman with a black woman's body and with a white woman's attitude towards a relationship, then everything will be okay. And some black men win with this argument and some lose. In the case of Shannon Sharpe, that is what he thought. He thought that if I got a white woman and that has yams or booty or even younger, that this was going to be the case. But unfortunately, as we know, it's not the case. Not all the time. There's some times where you might be correct, and sometimes you won't be. But I'm going to give my honest assessment. I can see how a white woman like this is going to get a lot of black men's attention. I mean, when you look at her, I mean, she is very good looking. You can look at her and say that, you know, she do got body. She likes exclusively black men. And I'm going to be honest, if you're the average black woman, you know, that is competing against somebody like her with black men, it probably is going to be difficult if a black man is open to dealing with white women. All right. Because she does have booty. She does work out. Like I said, she's going to 9 times out of 10 even flip dudes that typically would only deal with black women to white women, right? And then here's the other part. The kind of black men that she is going to be able to attract are probably the black men that black women want or cannot get. When you talk about like high wealth, you know, individuals or guys that are in the NFL, guys who are, like I said, you know, maybe black women consider very good looking or all of that. This white woman is right there in line to compete for some of these guys. And I can see why, especially athletes, because she's athletic. She is white. And, you know, you do have those black men out there who don't care about nothing but white and being light skinned. So the reality is that for black women, these other groups of women are going to come into your community and they're going to compete for you, for your men, especially on Instagram. Now, there is a black economy, guys, on social media that you can get brand deals. I mean, look at Fashion Nova. It's just not black women who buy Fashion Nova. It's everybody. So, you know, these white women know if they come to Miami, they can get in the black sector and make money in the IG model sector. There's money and there's black men that spend money. And this is what you're going to continue to see. White women who are going to look at black men that have money and they're going to come in and they're going to compete and they're going to either be on their best behavior or pretend to be on their best behavior. And they're going to be able to get probably the highest earning or top level black men to notice them. And it's going to be quite easy. I think it's easier for her to get a high earning black man in America than it would be for her to get a high earning white man in Denmark. And this is just the advantage that somebody like her is going to play. And if black women don't care, then, you know, they just don't care. But, you know, like I said, it's going to get worse. These white women understand what certain these black men have to offer, and they're going to try and take them from you. It's just kind of how it is. So, guys, what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I appreciate you for all that you do. I'm out.